there's a question here in our challenges, Jerry.
Is that so?
Yeah. Person's asking, I immensely enjoyed PAX Online and was astounded with how well it went for being made so quickly. How do you feel about how the event went? And are there any stories, insights into the process putting it all together?
Let's be clear. It wasn't made quickly. It took months and months.
Yeah.
But I love the idea that, if we're able to put a show together, even if it occurs in a radically different venue, by which I mean TCP/IP, that it feels like something that real people put together for you to enjoy. So a couple things. I was talking to one of the engineers before I came on because they had questions about this as well. And I think making Discord essentially like making the Discord server the show, making that where the show took place sort of inside. Once we had that metaphor, then there's a lot of cool things that you can do. So it's sort of like a mini game inside there. In the same way that people might collect or trade pins, you were basically engaging in a kind of social text adventure with other people and earning special emotes that you could basically put at the end of your username. And so there's a ton of writing by Dave Kaufman on that, and there's also scripting as well. I mean, to make all those things function. But I had a great time at it, and then the other thing that was novel, I think, about it. Well, obviously, it was a million days long. I think it was 10, but not a million. But it was 24 hours, and so we had obviously. Miniature portions of the show manifest in different parts of the world to maintain it, much as you do here, right? And each of them feels a little bit different. Each of them brings something special to it. But the Discord closed at the end of the show because the Discord was meant to be a place. And I was there in the chat, like when it was closing down, and it felt exactly the same as PAX does. So, Mike and I do the last round of the Omegathon is basically how things wrap up. And so that's sort of been our ritual for 16 years or so now, right?
Yep.
And the way that it went was, it felt the same. It felt the same. Oh, would you look at this?
Yes.
Would you look at this chat? Ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. I know.
We very briefly hit wing. Woo!
Very healthy.
Thank you so much, chat. That is absolutely amazing.
Very, very good. Absolutely ridiculous. In the best possible way. But that's it. I mean, that's my story. Is that we had a super good time, and then we closed down a digital server, and it felt like the end of a real human event. It was wild.
I've seen a lot of writing about that lately, and Laserwalker wrote a bit about that, about setting up a virtual space for roguelike celebration. But people have been thinking about that tying back into other stuff, like when they did all that stuff to shut down the Matrix Online MMO, and kind of like were actively making things happen on the server and then shutting it down, and everybody was like there for the farewells and then like logged out.
And it's really appropriate. It's really appropriate, especially in that context too. Like it makes perfect sense end to end. But I think that's one of the special things about it, is that it was time limited. It was a specific period of time and a specific group of people. And I think the way that things sort of exist online in perpetuity, that's interesting and cool. But a lot of times the way that our minds are oriented is that we value things precisely because they're ephemeral. And anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hey, Jerry, are you familiar with The Good Place?
Of course. I probably won't be going there, but
you're giving me flashbacks to the show.
Yeah. Exactly. And those ideas are explored in the finale. Arguably, the whole last season is about that, and of course, it's also about the show and the specific period of time that those actors had and those writers. Like that, it extends out in
It
concentric
works on
rings.
so many. Yeah, the meta levels of it are so.
Yeah. But that's just, I mean, and for good or ill, that's just how our monkey brains work. Is that we value things that we see for a time, and then we have a whole set of reactions when those treasured things leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't speak for everybody else, but I learned that very early on with the when I was just a young boy watching the series finale for Star Trek Next Generation. All good things.
Oh.
Yep.
Quite an episode.
Yeah, sorry, Carrie, I cut you off there.
Oh no, I was at the end of a beta test, I think, for one of the two Guild Wars games.
Oh.
The second Guild Wars game, I got to be part of the beta, and there was a server closing at the end of that run, and it was just like everybody went to the city, sat in the garden, chilled out, waited for the world to end.
Did they wear their city clothes?
Yeah. I'm not sure there was that much of a difference in clothes back then. It was.
Yeah, it's true. That's more of a 2 thing.
Yeah, and it was way early in MMOs grow ever bigger the longer they go. But
So
it's a special feeling. That's all.
Yeah.